Boil 'em cabbage down. It's the first song you're going to do. It's a great old song. There's about 1,000,000 verses to it. I might be exaggerating. It might only be 500,000. But there are pages and pages of verses to this song. It's a lot of fun to play. Kids love it. It's a great song to play for people. It's also a good song for a beginning banjo student to do, because it's all on the first string except for the very, very end of it, where you hit the second string. So there isn't a whole lot to worry about, except changing chords, keeping your rhythmic beat going, and singing. The melody kind of takes care of itself because you're all on the first string. And it'll give you your first taste of making music on the banjo. Now you'll notice that you can either download from the CD or go to the URL that's shown on your VHS tape and download Go Tell Aunt Rhody and Boil Them Cabbage Down. Go Tell Aunt Rhody, Boil Them Cabbage Down. Aunt Rhody is in G, Boil Them Cabbage is in C. And we'll be going through both of them to develop your playing skills in both of those keys. So in front of you now is Boil Them Cabbage Down. You'll notice there's the tablature along with the simple words. Now, what is tablature? Tablature is a set of instructions that tells you what to do with your hands to make the music. It is not written music in any way, shape, or form, but it's like a map to tell you where to put your fingers and where to do what and when. Okay? Now you'll notice on Boil Them Cabbage, your bump ditty. Here's your first measure. So it's in 4/4 time. Each measure is 4 beats. Your bump is 1 beat, and your ditty, indicated by the chord symbols there on the strings and the 5th string. So there's 1, 2, and 2, 2, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and... That's the first measure. C chord form. Look at your tablature. It'll just sort of get that into your head there. Okay? There's the first measure of Boil Them Cabbage Down. Now you'll notice it switches to a F chord. So what you have to do is go from your C chord position to your F position. And you'll notice that the tablature tells you to strike the first string, fret it at the 3rd fret, and then do your strum, hum, and again. So what you've got in 2 measures there is this. Okay? Then it goes back to the C chord. So what you've got in 2 measures there is this. Okay? Then it goes back to the C chord. And then to a G chord, all on the first string. Okay? Now that's pretty simple. But it's going to do 2 things. It's going to show you how to use this tablature as a learning tool and tell you when to change chords, when to change your chord forms, okay? And then it's also going to have you singing along with it, so that you put these 3 things together and you're one step closer to a journey that will never end, but in your development as a banjo player. I do want to make one comment now about tablature. It's a learning tool. It will enable you to be a better banjo player. Please, please, I beg of you, don't be one of the poor souls that we see walking around festivals clutching a 5-pound book of tablature to their bosom. And if somebody says, let's play so-and-so, they can't play it unless and until they find it in their book. And that ain't what banjo playing is about, as you will see later. Use the tablature as a learning tool to develop your speed, to tell you what to do, but you're going to know when it's time to put it aside and go out and experience the music. Don't carry it with you as a crutch. Use it as a learning tool and put it in its proper place in your quiver of tools to use playing the banjo. Okay? Boil them cabbage down. I'm going to play through it, and I'm going to sing the first verse, and then what I want you to do is work on it for a few minutes and then come back and play through it with me a couple of times. It might take you a week to get all these changes down and get confident, but we were at a festival just last weekend, and we gave a gentleman his very first banjo lesson, and he was playing Boil Them Cabbage Down before he left. So determination and desire plays a big part in how quickly this goes. I'm going to play through it once, and then I'll sing it and play through it again. Then we'll talk about it. Okay? It's G tuning in the key of C. Start out in your C chord. You go to your F, back to C, to G, back to C. It always goes back to C. Okay? And you'll notice on the very last note there, you hit the second string. If you miss and hit the first one, guess what? It doesn't matter. This entire song, except for one little note at the end, is on the first string. Here we go. The only song that I can sing is Boil Them Cabbage Down. There we go. Boil them cabbage down. Now let's see, what kind of problems might you have playing this simple tune? Let me guess. You're going to have a little bit of problem with your rhythmic fluidness because you're about 80% on your right hand now. Perfectly normal. Work through it. You're going to have a little bit of a problem changing chords. You're going to fumble with it. Perfectly normal. Work through it. Concentration, muscle memory. And you're going to have a lot of trouble singing. But if I can give you no other advice, it will be put those three skills together early. The real joy of music is singing. Your voice is a musical instrument. It'll do an awful lot for your banjo to have the accompaniment of your voice. So let's go through it one more time. Boil them cabbage down. And I'm going to really slow it down for you. Play along with me, and don't worry when you fumble. Try to pick it up, because when you're jamming, you're going to miss chords. You're going to don't just stop. Wait until you can jump in again and go again, and just keep going with it. It's so much fun, and the learning is such a thrilling experience. Okay, one more time. Boil them cabbage down. Boil them cabbage down, down, turn them hoe cakes around. Congratulations, you're now a banjo player. Work on that a little bit, then we'll go on to Go Tell Aunt Rhody.